The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shades thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Thursday, August 17th. And today, get ready for this, Gretchen. It is Congressional Startup Day. Hopefully, maybe they're going to start a whole new startup business and reinvigorate this country back to its old former greatness. But nonetheless, it's also National I Love My Feet Day for all you foot fetishers out there, on top of Black Cat Appreciation Day and National Thrift Shop Day and Stone's favorite, National Hazy IPA Day, on top of National Massachusetts Day and National Nonprofit Day. But thank you for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. Use that fancy little QR code right there in the top-hand corner of your screen to see where we live at the internet. And we're live every Monday through Friday on YouTube. And ultimately, we'll be on Twitter Spaces at some point once they get their shit together. But nonetheless, we are going to kick it off with the dope dad himself. That's right, the professional diaper changer, the professional TEDx speaker, and, oh, yes, that's right, he is the professional backstroke peddler himself. That's right, always ready to backpedal on anything that he says. That's right, is none other than the dope dad, Rico Lamitte. You with us, Rico? Your mic on?
Thank you.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Jason. I appreciate that, my brother. All right. And always keep the Purell on deck, man, so I can get no doo-doo residue on anything.
I bet. Keep everything sandy.
Diaper changer extraordinaire. But my story is coming out of the Big Apple yet again today. And as we all know, New York has become the choice market for trappers over the last year, with the new legislation targeting landlords be the game changer that legislators claim? Or is it just another premature victory photo op waiting to happen? So it's been nearly 3 full quarters since the first legal dispensary opened in Manhattan, in New York State. Despite Governor Kathy Hochul's promise of 20 minimum opening a month in 2023, we've seen 18 in total. So illegal operators flooded the market to fill New York's near insatiable demand, using everything from delivery services, hot dog stands, food trucks, e-commerce platforms, and most bold of all, actual brick and mortar dispensaries. Obviously not legal, but operating in broad daylight nonetheless. As my co-host Jason Beck pointed out several times before, until risk is introduced to landlords who actually own the properties where said dispensaries operate, ain't shit gonna change. Well, it seems that's exactly what they're trying to do now. And per the Gothamist yesterday, New York City Council members are calling the new legislation a game changer. With officials estimating 2,000 illegal cannabis shops currently open, New York Council members hope the new law will make it easier to shut down the shops than previously under the 2017 nuisance abatement law used to remove adult retailers from Times Square. In true New York lawmaker form, never passing up the chance for a good photo op, council members Carolina Rivera and Lynn Schulman addressed the media outside legal dispensary Union Square Travel Agency Cannabis to tout the new law's benefits. Rivera, representing Lower Manhattan, said regulators have an obligation to protect a healthy legal cannabis market and ensure the industry meets its equity goals. Schulman, who sponsored the new law, added illegal operators prevent licensed sellers like this one here from opening legitimate businesses, and they rob the city of much needed tax revenue to pay for essential programs and services. The new law in question threatens commercial landlords with fines up to $10,000 for knowingly leasing space or did not make a good faith effort to evict illegal operators. The New York PD's NYPD's partnered with the Department of Finance and NYC Sheriff's Department to jointly sniff out the trappers and communicate with landlords. Even Steve Sutendijic, sorry, I definitely just murdered that name, representing retailers on the Real Estate Board of New York, piled onto the rhetoric, also calling illegal cannabis shops a nuisance. Lawmakers did admit the process could take several months to set up. Schulman said violating landlords will first get a letter from the city, then they'll get an inspection with a second warning before finally getting fined after strike 3. Look, man, I played D1 football 20 years ago. After 2 decades, they got new players, new coaches, new refs, new TV contracts. Shit, they even letting kids get endorsements now so they don't have to live in poverty like me and my boys did back in the day. They got new helmets and a bunch of other performative safety measures claiming to better protect athletes from serious injury. The rules have been tweaked from time to time, but you know what? It's still the same damn game it was when I was on the field, and it's the same damn game as those who played before me. Call me a cynic all you want, but until New York's legal industry reliably supplies the product that consumers demand, the trap will adjust and stay winning. All this game-changing nonsense to me is just talk, but I want to hear what y'all think. I'm Rico Lamitte, dopest dad on the street, High 9 News.
Man, I'll tell you what, if they think that a $10,000 fine is going to stop any landlord or make them evict their tenant, they are out of their mind, okay? LA tried doing this where they tried to do it like $20,000 a day. They were unable to pull it off and never be ever successful with closing anyone down with that tactic. But I just don't see how New York is going to be able to threaten people with a $10,000 fine. Now, if it was $10,000 a day,
third strike.
If it was
on the third strike,
yeah, especially on the third strike, I'm not even. This. Yeah, they're crazy, bro.
Let me say this. Do you know how difficult it's gonna be? Look, I got a tattoo shop, and we give weed away for donations. So when someone comes in and they donate, and they buy this homemade cookie that was made, you know what I mean, and they're donating, to the small business. We give them a free eighth. There's ways to be able to say we're not selling marijuana. And I can legally give away marijuana to someone who is 21 years of age and over. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, you guys. Hold on.
Yeah, this whole thing with New York is just such a train wreck all in itself. They are not going to get anybody closed down with this $10,000 fine.
All they're going to do is hurt their own elections, because the same people that they're saying have all of these, and I know the owners of the legal shop, the dispensary of marijuana. I was fortunate enough to actually meet both owners, right? 2 Spanish guys, really, really good guys. And everyone else that has an operation currently right now is mainly the stores. It's the stores all throughout Times Square. It's going to be very hard to walk in there and be police and buy weed. They're going to know you're this is New York. This is a joke. Like, this is an absolute joke. Whoever's trying to get reelected, I can promise you, is going to be hurting their campaign off of this.
Jason,
this is the same battle we've had all over the country, guys. Until you get the politicians to recognize you can't beat the black market except at the marketplace, and you're going to be chasing your tail like this all over the place. They can change, they can move next door, then you got to go back to the whole process again. As Jason knows, they've been chasing these people forever. They're never going to catch them because the legal market is just too difficult to adjust, get into it, and then adjust to these market trends. I mean, I had a lot of people I knew used to be brokers in California. You fill your trunk up with weed. You want to get $2,000 a pound, you get whatever you need out of it, okay? You can't do that with a business. And until you make this economically viable for someone to walk into a legit shop and buy decent weed at a decent price, the black market's going to kick your ass.
Yep, that is right. That is right. You got any thoughts on this, Gretchen? You love New York and their program.
Muted.
I do. I agree that I don't think this is going to do much unless you can make it 10,000 a day. I mean, you really got to start hitting landlords where it hurts if you really want them to get into this with you.
Very true.
Well, the problem with that is the Constitution has the 8th Amendment, which prevents excessive fines. We've been having those battles.
Yeah, but I mean,
this is New York.
But
in New York, we stand outside. Winter, spring, summer, fall, doesn't matter. We're outside. We'll have on 2 pair of jeans, 3 pair of thermals, 3 pair of socks, some Timberland boots, a nice North Face, and it'd be freezing outside, and you'll see him standing right outside that corner store with that fire on him.
Double up on the slouch socks.
That's it.
Dale,
Get the Oreo fitted.
Dale, you remember back in the day in Oakland when Ken Estes had his store in Oakland, okay? And it was known as like the Purple Shop, and they were selling all the purple weed there. They were eating everybody's lunch. Even the 3rd floor directly across the street, they were eating their lunch. And so basically, the city of Oakland was saying that they have to close down. The Ken Estes has to close his store down, and they started fining him $500 a day. And you know what Ken Estes said? Who gives a shit? I'm doing $50,000, $60,000 a day. You think I care about this $500 fine every day?
Tax.
He took it.
No, he didn't.
All day, it's no problem. They didn't end up closing him down like months and months and months down the road on totally different types of violations. And this was when weed was really illegal.
Yep. Back in the day when it was a felony.
Cost of play.
Yep. Exactly. It costs to be the boss. That's what they say.
Isn't overtaxation by the local? Go ahead.
What's that, Stone?
I was going to say, isn't overtaxation by the local governments more harmful to the legal operators than even these guys having brick and mortar shops?
I would say because it doesn't allow them to be able to compete with the people that are just trapping, or as Justin likes to put it, the true legacy market.
Hey, Jason, you've been calling for the landlords to be targeted.
No, I have not been calling for that. No. I have not been calling for that. I've said that if you want to deal with the situation, that's how you deal with it.
Okay, so if that is dealt with, how is that dealt with properly? Would it be like a daily fine, like Gretchen said?
It would, it would have to be some type of daily fine, and where if the fines weren't paid, then some type of lien would go against your actual property, and then ultimately at some point in time, they would have the right to be able to seize your property after so many times. But that's like so far out from reality. It's a pipe dream.
Well, Dale, I have a question for you. Aren't they able to seize properties where there's illegal activity?
Oh, you can, but there's a line been drawn by our Supreme Court based on the 8th Amendment excessive fine. It's Timms versus Indiana. Like 3 years ago, some guy's $40,000 vehicle got seized for a couple $100 worth of coke, and they said that's an excessive fine. And I would transfer that right over to someone trying to take your property when what you're doing is not a major death penalty felony, and in a lot of places it's just a misdemeanor, and you're gonna take $500,000 to $1 million building from them or fine them in the millions of dollars for trapping. I think you're gonna have a constitutional problem there. That's an excessive fine. And
not to mention, Dale, in regards with your question, Gretchen, there's a big difference between seizing an actual building and seizing like a car because you were driving around selling drugs in it. There's a big difference. The laws are very, very different, and property can actually only be seized by the Office of the Attorney General, not by any type of agency.
Okay. But my question would also then go to Dale. For these landlords who may not actually be participating in the business whatsoever, they're just leasing property. How much are they liable for?
Well, it's all based on notice and an opportunity to be heard. If you don't know your tenant's trapping and they send you a notice, now you are on notice. Now you got to take some steps, and if you don't, then you can be fined. There are nuisance laws that they allow to abate nuisances, but to go in and take people's property or to fine them $10,000 a day. I mean, we have these problems in California where you can get 3 times your license fee fines. And those really haven't been tested yet. But when you spend 6 months fighting with the government, you end up with a fine of $2 or $3 million. I'd be arguing this is an excessive fine for what's going on.
And who defines excessive fine?
Well, it's a question of fact. And it's one of those like beads of mercury, sticking your thumb on it. What does it mean? Mm-hmm. Is it relation to the building value? I mean, I don't know. The amount of money being generated? Well, I don't know the metrics yet. I just know you can argue it's an excessive fine. And then go from there.
Yeah. And on that, I think we're going to go to a commercial and we're going to be right back.
How's it going, guys? Saman Razani coming to you from Green Street here with Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast available on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify? Tune in now and check it out.
He's the cannabis industry's longest continuously operating retailer, known for smoking the best weed in the world. And New York City's facial recognition software has no match for his Ray-Bans that he has on today.
These are not Ray-Bans. These are Method 7s. Don't get it twisted.
Well, maybe the facial recognition software will get through those Method 7s.
Only if it has a real method.
You don't know who it is. Jason Beck.
Oh yeah, look at Stone looking like Air Force One. I see that with that Top Gun, Stone. I see that. That's a good look for you, bro. That's a good look. Oh
wait. Why was it a good look for Stone, but not for me the other day?
I didn't say it wasn't a bad look for you, Gretchen. I said you look good with the glasses on.
You weren't liking it. No.
What are you talking about?
Joe Biden, as I recall.
Oh yeah, of course I did. Of course I said that. That's because I liked the glasses on you. I thought that was a great compliment for you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, seeing as how you're such a rhino. Oh man,
we need more rhinos in this country.
That's what we don't need. We don't.
They're an endangered species.
They should be even more endangered. They should be extinct.
Shut up and do your article.
Oh man, that was great, Gretchen. Gretchen, feel free to throw your sunglasses on. We'd love to see you in your shades. But nonetheless, just so you know, oh man, people are going to be so mad about this. And Stone, I think you're probably going to be the most maddest out of everybody. But Delta-8 THC derived from CBD is illegal, according to a DEA email. That's right. A recently revealed letter confirms that the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration considers Delta-8 THC that was synthesized from hemp-derived CBD, so the vast majority of current available consumer Delta-8 products, to be federally illegal. That's right. A letter written in 2021 by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration's Drug and Chemical Evaluation Section Chief Terrence Booz has revealed that the DEA considers Delta-8 THC when synthesized from CBD to be federally illegal. That is against the law for anyone that doesn't understand English. The letter was revealed last week by attorney Shane Pentagon via his On Drugs Substack. In a quote, arriving at Delta-8 THC by a chemical reaction starting from CBD makes the Delta-8 THC synthetic and therefore not exempted by the Agricultural Improvement Act. Any quantity of Delta-8 THC obtained by chemical means is a controlled substance, says Booz via the On Drugs Substack. The Agricultural Improvement Act, better known as the 2018 Farm Bill, allowed states to implement their own hemp regulations. Since then, companies selling hemp-derived cannabinoids have sprung up around the country, but some have even gone further in synthesizing the hemp-based cannabinoids, which are generally non-intoxicating, into more psychoactive compounds such as Delta-8 or even Delta-9 THC. The letter puts plainly what many experts have suspected for months. DEA communicated during a May 4th conference presentation that the agency supported adding all synthetic cannabinoids to contain THC, including hemp-derived Delta-8 THC, to the list of federally controlled substances. Additionally, in February, Booz wrote to another attorney that minor cannabinoids, including Delta-8 THCO and Delta-9 THCO, are illegal because they can only be synthesized and do not appear in nature, Marijuana Moment reported. And notably, Delta-8 THC does not appear naturally in cannabis plants, but only in trace amounts. But the vast majority of consumers' Delta-8 products are made using Delta-8 THC that was synthesized from hemp-derived CBD. Well, I'll tell you what, this is going to shake up Texas probably more than anywhere, so I can't wait to hear what Slade has to say about this. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News Hour. What do y'all have to say about this? Delta-8 and the DEA going head-to-head.
Doesn't matter.
What you got, Stone?
For the black market.
They're playing chicken. It's a dangerous game of chicken going on.
What you got to say, Stone? What's your thoughts?
I'm just, a lot of Texas retailers probably aren't happy with my thoughts on Delta-8. I've always believed it basically jumped the line on real cannabis, on the real deal. It went through the loophole. The plant is a perfect thing the way it is, the natural plant. There's no reason to synthesize any of it except for jump the loophole, jump the line. People can get high now in states like Texas, but it's not the real deal. And I've always said it's going to be the one thing that's going to be that first marijuana death or whatever, and it's not, and it'll be considered that way, but that's not what it is. And so, yes, I love it. You can take Delta-8 out of my intro, Rico, Jason. Yeah. Bye-bye, Delta-8.
I haven't even used that one in forever, man.
I'll make sure to use it today, Stone. I'll be introducing you later on. I'll make sure to use it.
Thanks, baby.
Yeah, anytime.
Well, I appreciate the DEA said this, but they only have rulemaking authority over their own administrative procedures. This isn't binding on the federal courts. And I'd love to see this go in front of the federal courts where you could take all this bullshit to the Supreme Court and challenge all of it as, they didn't have the right to put it in a controlled substance in the first goddamn place.
It's going to get thrown out because only Congress can make it, can say that it's illegal or not. But I think the interesting thing that comes from this is the fact that they're telling people that Delta-8 is not even derived from, it's synthesized. They're saying that this is coming from somewhere else. It's like, they're saying it's fake.
It is.
So for all the people out there that are smoking this fake shit, it's the equivalent of if you're a man and you think you're a man's man, you're sleeping with a tranny.
You might just be a girly man. You might just be a girly man.
Get the flower.
Well, there are rules about isomers out there, and this falls into the general category of isomers, okay? Delta-9 THC is naturally produced by the plant with high THC levels, okay? It's part of its biology and physiology. I have clients who cook CBD and turn it into all kinds of shit, okay? Now, is it a stereoisomer or fall under the isomer rules for THC? Maybe, because the federal government uses the term marijuana. And what the fuck does marijuana mean? Okay, so I don't know what the answer is to this because it's so vague and ambiguous. But somebody's going to get this in front of the Supreme Court, and I suspect they're going to hit it with a sledgehammer and smash it to smithereens and send them back to start over again.
Well, my position on that this doesn't matter because this isn't breaking news. It's been said before, and it hasn't stopped anything. So until someone actually starts trying to enforce this stuff, who cares? They're gonna keep selling it.
Well, now this is very interesting. So Mark Scagliadoni in the chat, he says Delta-8 THC is listed by name alongside Delta-9 under code 7370 in the Controlled Substances Act. But
when Congress gave the authority to the executive branch and they delegated it to the DOJ, who gave it to the DEA, right now the Supreme Court's telling Congress, look, you can't delegate all this shit out to these committees. Mm-hmm. Some of the stuff you have to come back to Congress for. So it would be interesting to see how those lines got drawn, how it got put there, if Congress actually did that, or if this is some addition down the line. Because when you call something marijuana, which is a pejorative racist claim that doesn't define shit, now you've got to define, before you hold somebody liable, define what you mean. How did you define it? See, in the meantime, the guy out in the front of this trap shop selling you Delta-8 all goddamn day long. So it just seems like lipstick on a pig here. It's just stupid.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I'm just, this story is just all kinds of... Oh man, but the thing is they're going to say that this is the state, but they're still not going to do any type of enforcement on it. at all whatsoever. At all. So it's a shame, but nonetheless, we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to roll right in to our feisty redheaded conservative who loves to sigh all the time. Why? Why does she love to sigh? Because we still don't know. That's right. But
Jason Beck.
Because Jason Beck is ridiculous because he doesn't believe in facts. Because he makes me roll my eyes every 30 fucking seconds with all the bullshit coming out of his mouth.
I love to make sure that women are always rolling their eyes. That way I always know they're exercising.
You know how Saman makes women say hello again? You make a sigh, Jason Beck.
That's all right.
You make women sigh.
I love making women sigh. That's how you know they're paying attention to me. I love it. I love it. That's right. It's the founder of Panoptic Strategies, our very own Gretchen Gailey.
All right. My headline is coming out of MJ Biz Daily. More cash, more headaches for marijuana retailers after MasterCard ban. Marijuana retailers across the United States are adjusting to handling and securing more cash in store after MasterCard's abrupt decision last month to halt millions of dollars in cannabis purchases involving its popular debit card. Operators are also bracing for the possibility that global financial giant Visa will follow suit. While facing growing threats, their increasingly cash-heavy operations will become even more attractive to criminals. Some marijuana retailers are zeroing in on improving in-store communication with customers and the overall shopping experience in the wake of MasterCard's exodus. Other retailers told MJ Biz Daily they are reassessing internal processes, including researching payment processing vendors to potentially expanding card purchasing options. The debit card ban also will likely push more businesses to the underground market, sources told MJ Biz Daily, perhaps generating even more competition from the illicit market. The U.S. Cannabis Council told Green Market Report that hundreds of legal marijuana businesses, particularly retailers, were affected by MasterCard's decision. One store operator, meanwhile, said MasterCard purchases accounted for almost 20% of in-store transactions. It all adds up to more headaches and woes for retailers and consumers, according to Andrew D'Angelo, a Northern California-based marijuana consultant. The end result of this, obviously, is a lot more ATM machines, a lot more people using cash, and a lot more exposure to violent crime. More transactions are going to move to the underground market where you don't have this cumbersome problem with payments. In a bit of irony, it's no secret that peer-to-peer cash payment apps such as Venmo, which are regulated at the federal and state levels, play a key role in underground commerce. In suburban Boston, The Goods, a retailer that opened last November, is reassessing its point-of-sale software and payment processing services after the MasterCard ban. The Goods was in the process of lining up a new payment processing vendor to add PIN debit cards that look like credit cards but operate like electronic check as a transaction option for customers. But that decision is now on hold. At the moment, we have paused those conversations regarding the payment process, owner Chris Vining said. We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. In San Diego County, shoppers at Jack's Cannabis have largely conducted transactions in a cashless environment, a trend that gathered steam among many retailers because of the coronavirus pandemic. After the MasterCard ban, however, workers are directing more customers to the store's existing ATMs to withdraw cash. Quick checkouts are less common these days. It's just the customer's experience being affected, said Johan Balbuena, Chief Marketing Officer at Prime Harvest, Jax's parent company, which also has cannabis delivery and manufacturing operations in the San Diego market. Now we're just reverting back to what it used to be, she said, referring to the recent increase in cash-based purchases. The company's delivery business, which accepts only online payments, hasn't been affected yet. However, a 3-month internal analysis of in-store transaction receipts revealed nearly 20% of Jax's customers use MasterCard for purchases. Only 1% use Discover. Just looking at those numbers, Balbuena said hopefully Visa doesn't decide to take the same measure. Visa dominates debit card purchasing volume in the U.S. with a 72% market share. Yahoo News reported citing Nelson report findings. At Green Farms, Arizona locations in Flagstaff and Mesa, about 40% of clients use debit cards. It's hard to say how many MasterCard-only cardholders will be lost, but at Green Farms, even one person turned away is one too many, owner Arvind Saloom told MJ Biz Daily. Any dispensaries currently accepting debit cards are reeling from the adverse effects of MasterCard's decision. The green farm stores have ATM machines, and customers are being encouraged to bring cash. My question would be for like retailers like Jason Beck. Is this really hitting home? Is it a major problem for retailers? Is it another reason to pass safe banking? This is Gretchen for High at 9 News.
It definitely is another reason to pass safe banking. That is for sure, without a doubt. And I just feel like MasterCard kind of like overstepped their bounds on this. I'm not sure why they did it, because Visa is still taking it, and they are the largest credit card processor in the country. And so therefore, I don't understand why MasterCard would do that. And then segment.
You guys understand this is good. This is a very good thing still.
Okay.
What's good?
Because
why is it good?
All right. Well, look, I'm someone who likes to see the silver lining, right? So we also know at the same time they're trying to push this whole digital currency, BS on everybody, right? And there are a lot of people who feel like they won't be able to be anonymous with their government if their government is able to track any and all transactions. So this does create a place where cash is still needed. And as long as there's still market areas where cash is needed, then cash may have to stay in circulation. People don't understand the ramifications of what we ask for, because then when we get it and we finally do get what we're asking for, we don't understand truly what it entails. Let them continue to do this BS, because at some point they'll find some other way to go through transactions or do something. And at least you can still go into the dispensaries, go to an ATM, because they have them in there. Trust me, they have 2-3 of them in there. You go in there, you get your cash out the ATM, and then you go ahead and you handle your business. It's not. Well,
the problem with the ATMs is that they oftentimes will run out of cash. And oftentimes too, they don't work for some reason. Like they don't connect to the internet. They're not connected to the banks.
Then it's your responsibility to have cash on you before you go in there.
I agree with that. As a consumer, you should always have your cash with you prior to. But at the same time, that's not the reality of what actually happens when people are at the purchasing counter. Oftentimes people are like, okay, how much is my order? Okay, and then they want to go over to the ATM and pull out the money and whatnot, and then at that point they're basically jamming up the line if there is a line going on, and so it does create a big inconvenience in trying to expedite people in and out of a retail.
And the inconvenience is coming from the people who are walking into a place that they know they would have to have known that you need cash in order to go in there and be able to get what it is that you want. I'm just saying that the good comes with the bad, and the good from this is that cash has to stay relevant within this system. And it's very important that we continue to use cash, because once they're able to remove the physical fiat currency from out of your face, then they're definitely going to be able to remove that Constitution.
Yeah, just so you know, I am all about the cash, and I'm all about the cash businesses, and I'm all about always accepting cash. And I actually boycott all businesses that I go to that when they go in and they say that they only accept credit cards. And I actually am looking for some people to do some class action lawsuits against these businesses, because to me, I believe that to be against the Constitution to not accept cash as currency.
All right. Well, anyway, before we go down this whole debate,
sounds like flip-flopping to me, Jason.
That's not a flip-flop. That's just reality.
Good Lord.
That is definitely not a flip-flop.
Well, I hear what you're saying, Tony, on, glass half full on this. I think we need to also understand that there aren't the smartest consumers walking into every store with cash in their pocket. And as a business retailer, you have to be able to work with your customer to get the sale. I mean, to think that everyone's smart and just has enough cash on hand, that's not... I have never almost have cash. Almost never. It's like my mom slipped me a 20 when I go to see her is when I have cash on me. I mean... Me
either. I'm me either, but I know that if I'm going someplace and it's required that I have cash, I'll stop at Walmart. I'll go there, I'll grab something that I need, and then I'll take some cash out as a cash, I'll stop at an ATM, but before I go in there, I make sure that I have what I need on me, because I know what's going to happen. Like, even if I go to events where my son is a fighter and he goes and he fights, when you go buy water or something from someone, they're not going to have a square there and then take your card and read your card. And would you just trust some random person? No. So I would just have the cash. It's okay.
I get you, but aren't there times when you go to buy that bottle of water you thought was going to be $5 and then it's 10 because people suck? I mean, there are times when you just don't have enough.
Then that's when
And
you
then
put
it's
it down.
America, baby.
That's
You
when you
better
put it
double
down.
up.
Go buy that shit somewhere else.
Fees, hidden fees, like
Better
all
drink some
kinds
spit.
of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Swallow.
I do think passing safe banking will help to make these major credit card companies be a little more interested in doing business with us.
From what I've been told, safe banking has nothing to do with it. It has to be.
It doesn't have to do with it. It has to do with confidence in the cannabis industry. I'm not saying that there's a provision in safe. I'm not saying that there's a provision in safe that protects these guys. I agree with you 100%, Rico. But if banks are more willing to do business with us, it instills confidence. That's what we want from safe, is confidence. Because this industry right now has zero confidence. Look at how investors are looking at it right now.
The credit card industry want full federal legalization before they even touch it.
They are smart enough to realize that this is a step.
They don't give a shit about safe banking.
Well, at the same time, too, the credit card companies, you have to understand this too, is that anyone can do chargebacks with any type of credit card on cannabis, because electronic sales under credit card are only legal for actual legal substances, and therefore any retailer that accepts credit cards is putting themselves at a disadvantage, because anyone could legally dispute those charges and say, I didn't realize that I was purchasing an illegal Schedule I drug, and then immediately they will have all their money returned to them, and the retailer will be out of that money with no type of recourse.
With a penalty, usually like a $50 or more penalty for a chargeback too.
Yeah.
So.
And with that, we're
moving.
Yeah, we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
Let's do it.
The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated.
Rico, we're gonna run it like tomorrow. Let's roll right into Dale.
You're running like tomorrow. I like that, man.
Yeah.
You're so futuristic. You got a time machine. You hopping at a DeLorean.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Riding on 10s, but they're clean though. Either way, we're gonna go right into our next correspondent. He's the man representing for such a long time, 36 plus years, as an attorney at law, representing our Armada Law Court. But now, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just chilling on that lazy boy, kicking it in front of the mantle where I would like to be, man. I gotta come up there and visit, man. It just looks so comfortable in your living room. Everybody's foul mouth uncle is here to give us another story. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody west of the Mississippi. Good afternoon for all the rest of you. And that's my Martin guitar behind me. Kept me sane in prison and play it every day.
Love it.
Okay, guys, I got another story that involves trademarks, intellectual property. Don't fall asleep on me now.
No promises.
Gretchen.
Yeah, Gretchen. No sleeping, Gretchen.
I'll try to keep the jury awake on this, all right? The headline comes out of Law 360, and it says, Vape sued over puff. Puff mark can't be nixed. A judge rules. This involves trademarks and trade names, and it also is another phase of what we call lawsuit pleading. Yesterday, we talked about a case where there was a pissing match over trademarks, but it was in a phase of a civil proceeding after they've done discovery, and they have facts to try and dismiss the other side's case. This came, I'll try to give you the names. You've got EVO Brands and PVG2 is another company suing Al Khalifa Group and Overseek and a bunch of individuals about a trademark and a trade name that includes the word puff, P-U-F-F, with a cloud. And that trademark, according to the complaint, was registered by the plaintiffs. Okay. But the defendants started using puff in the name of a brand that they were promoting, and that's when this pissing match got started, because the plaintiffs think they have the right to puff, the word puff in a cloud. Okay? And perhaps they do, perhaps they don't. But this came up in what we call the pleading phase. In a civil suit, you file a complaint, and then the other side has an opportunity to try to attack the pleadings and answer and go into discovery. They're in the attack the pleadings phase. The defendant said, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't allege that because it's not true, that you own all this stuff. Well, what the plaintiffs alleged is that they own because they filed a patent trademark registration with Puff and this cloud, and that they purchased some companies that had been notice of intent to use other trademarks with Puff in it, and that they were using this, and they have the superior right to stop other people from using Puff. That's sort of the four corners of the start of the pissing match. The defendants wanted the court to take judicial notice of a bunch of facts. The FDA sent this group a warning letter because they were adulterating these products with stuff, synthetic nicotine, things like that. But they also claimed they were selling non-nicotine products so that they weren't covered by these warning letters. And the court said, hang on, this is the pleading phase. They allege enough, and I'm not going to dismiss the case because you disagree with what they're alleging. They're going to force this case to go into discovery now, where you are going to be sending out subpoenas and asking questions, taking depositions, and trying to prove or disprove that these folks actually own this trademark and actually have priority status over this trade name. Okay, so we may talk about more of these pissing matches going forward over intellectual property. But what I wanted to point out today is that there are different phases of these suits. You plead, you discover, and then you go to trial. The real important parts of these are the cases that go to trial and you get a finding from a court of something you can use for other cases. This case will probably get settled as 95% due, but the headlines here is that we're not going to dismiss this case at this phase. You guys go prove up or disprove your little pissing match over who owns Puff and the cloud with a Puff written over it. So that's what I got for today. Gretchen, you're still awake, I can see. Okay,
I'm awake.
Okay, throw it back to you guys. What do you think about this?
Well, Dale, here's my first question.
Oh boy, here
When
we go.
is a term just so in the common lexicon that it's not trademarkable?
Yeah,
When is it so common?
Puff should be in that category.
Yeah, I would think Puff would be.
It might be, but if you take Puff and you use a certain type of script and you put it into a background of a cloud of a certain color with a trade dress around it, and you register that, okay, that's like what Coca-Cola does. The word Coca and the word cola are, lexicon words. But if you put it together with red and that script and the way they do it, the Patent Trade Office will know somebody's got a superior right to that, and you can't use it.
So you're saying that these guys are alleging that the other company completely used their branded logo of Puff.
That they infringed upon the trademark rights of Puff in a cloud.
I think Adobe Illustrator could argue the fact that they own this Puff and not these guys that are saying that they own Puff.
Well, they might be able to, but part of the problem we have here is that people start using, after a marketing meeting, they come up with a logo and a name, and they'll start using it in commerce, okay? But if it involves products that aren't necessarily legal, you can't get them all registered at the U.S. Patent and Trade Office. So they're out there being used in commerce, and then somebody claims, oh, you're infringing upon my trademark, but it's not registered. That's where pissing matches really get ugly, because who knows who owns it? It's a question of fact. You spend hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to prove or disprove who used it first. Is the color of my scheme the same as yours? Is the same calligraphy? Same exact spelling? I mean, I recommend you get a good IP attorney on board early when you start doing this and secure as much as you can these trade rights, and then jealously guard them with cease and desist letters and punch somebody in the nose who tries to use it.
Punch them real hard, right? With no gloves, Dale?
Real hard. Watch them bleed.
Yeah.
Silence.
You got any thoughts on this? Any thoughts on this, Stone? I know there's a lot of Puff products out in Texas.
Go Puff.
I don't have any. I have no comments on this one, man. I just I was over here hiding, and you called on me, Teach.
I do want to say this because I took a poll and then I had a high thought and I said, wow, did they make Puff Daddy stop being Puff Daddy?
No, that's why he's
On this
puffy.
month.
That's why he's puffy.
Yeah, but he stopped
Or
being
Diddy.
puffy too. Now he's Diddy. He's P Diddy. He
What
stopped
happens when he
using
calls?
Puff
What
altogether.
happens when he calls everybody else daddy?
And then yeah, that was just ridiculous
boy.
right there, man.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
know. Pause on that. That's why I said I can't get with the guy. That's why this is why he cannot own a leaf company, because he would just put something in the plant. I don't trust the guy. All right.
Dale, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Are there? You said there's a number of companies named in this.
Yes. I don't know. There's
So-
4 companies and 3 individuals. Yeah.
Everybody and their cousins using the word puff.
Yep. And they're trying
Does
to
that help
secure-
the argument that these guys shouldn't be the only ones to own it?
Well, I don't know that it helps the argument, because what the judge said, these are all questions of fact. I'm not going to dismiss the case at this stage. Go out and work this up. But these are what these cases are made of, because you bring in IP litigators who go clear back to the first time anybody thought about using this name. What did you do? You do depositions and subpoena records to see who first started this. What did it look like? How was it spelled? Did you really try to secure this and protect it, or did you let it go without saying anything? It turns into multi-$100,000 attorney's fees for the litigators. And, maybe you come out of it with superior rights and nobody else can use the name, or you lose your ass and have to pay everybody's attorney's fees. Who knows?
And shout out to Johnny Smash. Johnny Smash. He says that it's just the Magic Dragon now, due to this lawsuit.
Yeah.
Poor puff.
Poor Puff.
Poor
Anybody
Puff.
that's used Puff,
Hold on,
I
this,
wouldn't
this
worry
is,
about
this
it.
is also going to affect the Ghostbusters, right? With the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, well, only if you're trying to put that onto a tobacco vape product or something.
This,
yeah.
I mean, this is going to have just all types of ramifications, bro.
What about that GoPuff delivery service?
See what I'm saying? Oh man!
And it starts. Yeah.
What about
it
Puffingtown USA?
Puffingtons.
Yes.
How about the next story?
Oh, that's cute, Gretchen. Real
Move it along,
cute.
Gretchen. There we go.
Oh, yeah. She's moving it along. That's right. Coming up next. That's right. It's the man who is probably crying right now, or probably right after the show, due to the fact of the DEA's ban on Delta-8, because he's not going to be able to go and buy it anymore in the great state of Texas. That's right. It is none other than Mr. Stone Slade.
No cheer on that one.
No,
Yeah, I'll have to stop shipping you Delta-8.
I don't know.
Jason.
I don't have the cheer. I don't have the cheer buttons, bro. That's a Rico thing.
That's all right. What are we talking about today? We're all familiar. Sorry about that. We're all familiar with the celebrated cannabis culture holidays 420 and 710. But for those viewers that aren't, here's a little bit about what they are, where they came from, and what's next. 420, that glorious moment celebrated on April 20th, and well, twice a day by some of us, most of us, is more than just a time to light up. It's a cultural phenomenon. It started back in the 70s with a group of teenagers in San Rafael, California. They would meet at 420 to search for an abandoned cannabis crop and indulge in a little herbal enjoyment along the way. From those humble beginnings, it became a symbol for the cannabis community, a connection point for enthusiasts around the world. Then came 710, celebrated on July 10th, an homage to hash oil and concentrates. Flip the number 710 upside down, you get the word oil. It's the bolder, more intense side of cannabis, celebrating the art of dabbing in concentrated forms. 710, it's not just a date, it's an acknowledgement of creativity in the many forms that cannabis can take. Now, this ever-evolving landscape of cannabis culture, there's a new date on the horizon, ready to break the mold. And Jason Beck, with his love and confidence of the cannabis beverage market, is going to love this one. This Sunday, August 20th, or 8/20, also known as National Water-Soluble Cannabinoid Consumption Day.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Let's just call it Drink Cannabis Day. 8/20 doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's based on water's cannabis chemical composition, H2O. H is the 8th letter of the alphabet, and because of the 20, obviously that comes from the 420 holiday. A dash of creativity and a sparkle of science, but a large dollop of innovation But what's behind this new date is actually created by a company called Sourcey Technology in 2022. 820 isn't merely a different way to consume cannabis. It's a revolution in taste, onset, and experience. And it's about water-soluble emulsion technology and finding about new horizons in edibles, beverages, and even personal care products infused with THC, CBD, and other cannabinoids. Think of it as a collective cheers to the innovation that's transforming the industry. It's not just about getting high. It's about the appreciation of better tasting edibles without the lingering cannabis taste or smell. It's about a faster onset, consistent experiences, and saying goodbye to those 3+ hour hazes that you can't escape from. Picture enjoying cannabis-infused products at social gatherings, river floatings, or during movie nights. Imagine the ability to enjoy safely, responsibly, and with a new level of sophistication. So as August 20th approaches, let's take the time to reflect on the journey that started with 420, evolved with 710, and is now reaching a thrilling new frontier with 820. It's a journey of innovation, exploration, and creativity, and shared a love for a plant that continues to surprise and delight. So here's the 820, a day that's more than a number, a symbol of where we've been and where we're going and the endless possibilities that lie ahead. I'm Stone Slade reporting for the High at 9 News Hour. I do have to say, though, I'm always down for an excuse to celebrate and consume cannabis, but one of the things that stood out to me in the information I found that water-soluble cannabinoids tech, the no lingering cannabis taste. I personally still want my cannabis to taste like cannabis. I want the natural terpenes and flavonoids of the flower that was used, but I can totally understand there's a crowd out there that doesn't. I'd love to hear what you guys think.
Get them out.
I'll tell you how many people are going to celebrate this holiday, Stone Slade, are probably about as many people as buy cannabis beverages, and that is probably the smallest segment of the entire market.
It's growing, Jason.
Fastest growing segment.
Yeah, I'm not buying any of that. I'm not buying any of what you're selling on this, Stone. I think this is a boof holiday. And I can't believe that someone is really
International Booth Day.
Yeah, I can't believe someone is really putting their money behind this to promote this. This is
IBD.
Man, people love to waste money on dumb shit.
It's what America's built on. Isn't that what America's built on?
No.
That's right.
No, it's not.
I knew you would love this.
It's built on capitalism.
Capitalism is people buying shit that they don't fucking need.
No, it's not.
That's marketing.
No, that's marketing. Yeah, exactly. Come on now.
Sell you shit you don't want because I convince you do. Give me your money.
Yeah. Capitalism is people buying shit that they want.
That's great marketing. Okay.
Marketing gets you there. So you need some better marketing around this holiday, and then maybe it'll fly. The majority of our holidays are tied to paganism anyways, right? So it's your pagan holiday. You're teeing up for the world. Slam.
Either way.
98%. Definitely, yeah.
I mean, still.
Happy 820 this Sunday, Jason.
Yeah, 820.
International Booth Day.
820, yeah.
The inaugural.
I mean, 420 I feel like is one of the only holidays I know that's not a pagan ritual. It's
a real holiday.
It's a real holiday.
Yeah.
It's like a real holiday. It's like a real. Everything else kind of has some form of backstory that's just like really crazy, and you're like, wow. But 420 is pure.
I feel like they could have marketed this a lot better. You know that, Stone? I feel like I feel like they should have marketed it as like 820. It's the day for you to try a cannabis beverage if you haven't tried one already. And then that way they could get closer to actually having some type of market share to where people would give a shit about their holiday.
Listen, there's people out there that enjoy having cannabis beverages.
Yes, they do.
It's a great holiday. I love it.
I want to comment that the technology to make this it's a non-polar molecule soluble in water, that technology. I have a client who used to make this stuff in 10 milligram volumes, and then you could pour it into your favorite drink. Okay, so you can make it whatever you want it to be, including wine, or I like whiskey, so, I think that would be, I told him that's more marketable than making a product at a time that people think tastes like moose piss and won't drink it.
Was this made up in Texas, Stone?
What's that?
Was this some bullshit made up in Texas?
Absolutely not, Gretchen. There's a company behind it.
Yes, this.
Well, where's this company?
I think this started out. I think this started in Minnesota.
Do we know where these people are from?
I'll tell you 1 second. Sourcey
Are you
Technology.
just reading their press release?
No,
Hey,
Is that
no.
where we're getting this grand holiday from?
This
Is their press
This
release?
is actually an original
Absolutely
story
not,
by
lady.
Stone Slade.
Who's your source?
They're a leading CBD hemp and terpene emulsion supplier.
Yeah.
From
From
where?
where? From where?
Sourcey Technology. Where the hell are you, man?
They're probably Canadian or something.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
probably.
They
Based
gave
in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
Boise, Idaho. Is that for real?
No.
No.
What
Seattle,
kind of
Washington.
correspondent
Seattle,
are you?
Washington.
I'm
Seattle,
on the board.
Hey, I found it. Seattle, Washington.
Seattle,
There you
Washington.
go. Pretty close to Boise.
Sounds like some hipster bullshit from Seattle. What's
I
next?
dig
Yes,
around
yeah.
for lots of information to put the story together.
These guys think they're starting a whole new Starbucks now, right now. New holiday.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, let's roll.
Let's do it. Bringing us home today is the self-proclaimed most feared Black Latin man alive. He's a political leader, artist, activist, entrepreneur, and the jury's still out on if he will be calling Puff Daddy from now on. Antoine. Tony Montaga.
The jury is out. I will never call that nigga nothing. Ever. Not nothing. Not a nothing. But we did talk earlier today about what was happening as far as marijuana is concerned in New York. And there's something that I want to talk about because it's not about New York. It's about here in Houston, where I'm currently at my studio. And it's about baseball player John Singleton. So failed marijuana test nearly ended John Singleton's career. Now the Astro slugger's asking what if. Houston AP. In 2018, John Singleton requested his release. Released from the Houston Astros after being suspended 100 games following his third failed marijuana test while in the minors, choosing to walk away from baseball rather than face the suspension and everything that came with it. His quote, "I just didn't want to play baseball anymore," he told the Associated Press earlier this month. He quoted, "I knew I had to serve 100 games and serving 100 games with this organization in this position. I was and was not going to, it was not going to be a good thing for me. It was going to take me down to a dark road. So at that point, I just wanted to be done with baseball and kind of get away with everything." So he just wanted to be away from baseball. He didn't even care. His love for this beautiful plant had him so married to it that he said, F baseball, this is the minors, being high, that's the majors. And it continues on. A year later, marijuana was removed from Major League Baseball banned substance list. It will be a couple more years before the left-handed slugger returned to the organization, to organized baseball in the Mexican League, because that's not the majors. It was Mexican. No disrespect to you guys, but I mean, you know. He returned to the majors for the first time since 2015 this season, first with the Milwaukees and now back with the Astros. A former top prospect, now 31, wonders what his career would have been if marijuana, Mary Jane, currently legal in 23 states, was taken off the banned substance list sooner. Now, what I want to say to you guys out there is, what do you think?
I mean, I threw it in the chat. Is this basically almost like the Ricky Williams of baseball?
Wow.
Kinda. I had a friend who had a similar incident. He was a minor league player. He was playing with the Phillies, and he got a 100-game suspension for testing positive in the off season. In the winter, they just showed up at his house, were testing him, blah blah blah, and he got pinged, and it ruined his career. Didn't play again. He was a young pitcher, and by the time he would have done his whole 100 games and he went to independent leagues and other places to play while this all worked out, it was too late. His hopes and dreams, the majors was over. I mean, I think it's ridiculous what they do to players. It's bullshit.
Yep.
Exactly.
Look at Josh Gordon in the NFL. That kid was amazing, but every time suspended for cannabis.
Yo, Major League Baseball players play 162 games every season, right? And I think just like every year, every other year, you have reports of somebody either getting a DUI or even dying from a car crash involving alcohol with Major League Baseball players, and they're allowed to go to the games drunk, hungover, and all that. Like, why can't they smoke? Why does this guy not have a fight in getting reinstated?
Well, I think in sports, Rico, the performance base in regards of how you measure athletes as opposed to work performance is based off whether or not you win or not. And as long as you continue to win, no one's gonna say anything about what you're
That's
doing.
bullshit. Bullshit.
No, it's not.
You just made the comparison to Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams was playing just fine on campus. No. What are you talking about?
That's not. Ricky Williams failed the drug test. Okay, so that's not the same thing.
But the point is that you're saying that if a guy is playing okay,
I'm
that
saying
they're gonna
I know
turn
tons of stories of tons of professional athletes that would be hammered, wasted the day of the Super Bowl, okay, and still had no problem playing. And so that's what I'm saying is that if you're winning, no one's going to question anything. They're not going to start questioning stuff until you start losing.
Yeah, they do. If you're winning, the opposing team is going to question that, and they're going to ask for an investigation into your shit.
Well, if marijuana is getting you out there and kicking ass, then everyone's gonna want it. So that's just a good thing. So if they can equate to you out there ripping and running and kicking everyone else's ass, this is because the only thing they can find is some marijuana in your system, and that's crazy. What I did want to say though is because remember, I'm the guy that is like looking for like the things that people don't see, right? 23 states currently has marijuana legal. It's ridiculous that it's not legal at a federal level at this particular point in time. And this is something that I just felt like the whole article, when it said so much by just simply just saying that. And I just think that out of boo-hoo this guy, you know, who, because look, at the end of the day, if I got a job and it's a government job and I want to hold a gun and I want to be in the federal office somewhere, you can't smoke weed or whatever the case may be, you can't smoke weed. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. When you're trying to play for someone else, it's just rules that come with that. So be your own boss, and then you don't got to worry about somebody piss testing you. But if 23 states currently has marijuana legal, we are way past the tipping point, because you have to understand there are other states that are not legal where clearly the function of it is being used, and there has to be some type of medicinal dispensaries there where you can get medical marijuana. In the states where it's not, because what I believe that they're counting as legal as the states that have medical as well as recreational law. And if we're going to count all of them, then we need to really start thinking about the federal level and the federal government saying we have to take it off this list.
Well, I hope this guy, I hope he at some point is able to recoup, the losses.
He's playing baseball. He's doing great.
Hey,
he's doing great.
He's about to get paid.
He ain't making money he ain't making that big time money no more.
Well, maybe he'll get some reparations at some point, Rico, and get like back pay for, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Jason.
Maybe he'll invest in the marijuana industry. Maybe he'll use this as a way to educate more potential business owners, and maybe he'll be able to use this to to get money. God doesn't make mistakes. This happened for a reason. So something will come from it.
Yeah, I love that
Ingrid Faye. Yeah, she said in the audience that Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, they brought baseball back with steroids. Remember that?
That's true.
They brought it.
That's true. Really, Jose Canseco
is whiter than Mark McGwire.
Barry Bonds,
Just saying.
Oh boy, I see what you did.
But thank you all for joining us for another episode of High at 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays 9 a.m. Pacific and high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans showing love, getting their comments live on the big screen and live audience, and online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in for the conversations of chaos daily with us. Our vetted correspondents tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of your perspective and your respected opinions to the table too. To our production team, Cloud Media Partners, House of Fuego, and all our sponsors keeping the lights on and the AV struggles to a minimum. And of course, the lovely Jaja Simone holding us down everywhere else but here. always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason the High at 9 News team reads these headlines every day. Thank you. It has been Thursday. What is it? Oh, what is the day? August 17th, 2023. The show's over. You all been blessed with the top industry headlines. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street. Hope it was enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. Stone Slade, Mr. 820. What you got for us today, man?
Hey, I was just going to remind everybody, this weekend is 820. Be sure to drop Jason Beck a line while you're out there celebrating Sunday. Jason, you expect to hear from the crowds. Happy 820, everybody.
Yeah, everybody send me a message if you're going to celebrate 820. Send me a picture of what you're sipping on.
2 cans.
Yeah, send me a picture of what you're sipping on. Go for it.